Another interesting thing I'm seeing with stuff in this space is the direction of a lot of companies, like a Pear Therapeutics or others, to go down the FDA route to get approved as essentially a drug or a medicine, kind of similar way that Achilles is doing. And I think that's going to be critical in this space because, from my view, one thing that's interesting that I've seen is that there's just a ton of startups in this space because the barriers of entry to creating a cognitive behavioral tool versus a really like molecular piece of drug is a lot lower. And so you're going to get a ton of these Me Too's everywhere. And that's kind of something I see. I see hundreds of companies that get sent to me in my inbox. And half the time I look at them and I'm like, this is total shit. You have no data. You're trying to do something that there's 100 other people that are trying to do this. And what are you really doing differently? And I think that a fundamental, there's kind of two channels of groups that I see. Some people say you don't need to go and get kind of approval, and some that say you should. And I think there's room for both. Yeah. But in general, I find that going down the FDA approval route and getting the credibility to say that we are a cognitive behavioral therapy or we're a digital therapeutic that has an actual efficacy benefit. I think that's really important, and that's something that I look for now. Yeah. I really look for understanding how are people...
In the headline of those emails, right? It needs to be FDA cleared.
Yeah, FDA cleared. This is our plan to demonstrate efficacy, and I think that's just something that the industry is finally understanding, recognizing. Because of the low barriers of entry, there's going to be a ton of Me Too's on the App Store, and there's got to be a way to significantly differentiate, as well as if a physician has an opportunity to prescribe, obviously getting that approval and getting that credibility is going to be important for them to be able to say, okay, I want you as a patient to use this therapy.
It's two very different business models though, isn't it? So the FDA cleared route, which as you say, people like Pear and Achilles are going down, and I think that's so important. But ultimately that works if there's a reimbursement code, if there's a health economic argument, essentially.
There's an infrastructure in the health system.
There's an infrastructure in the health system.
Which isn't there.
The health system is not well set up for that at the moment.
Exactly.
I think digital health on the whole has been really held back by the need for ultimately those hard endpoints.
And especially when you become preventative in general, where if you're looking at a lot of the stuff that you guys are doing that's happening in the neurospace is where you're trying to predict or prevent the onset of disease. And there's no real good way to monetize
There isn't great reimbursement for that,
so,
particularly in the US.
In the US, again, I'm very US focused. But
in other models, it's a bit different. No, you're so right. So for us, I mean, we work in very regulatory compliant environments. We have and can produce medical devices. So that aspect isn't a concern if that is the right thing to do for the business model. If that's the right way to get the technology into the hands of the people that need it, then that's the way to go. I think the other route, however, is about taking advantage of this upswell of interest in consumer health generally and brain health particularly. The difficulty is, at the moment, that's driven by marketing dollars, right? So there are how many hundreds of thousands of apps on the App Store that promise to do great things for your mental health, for your brain health, whatever.
That's why I strongly struggle with the B2C model in general in this space.
Right.
If they're going completely B2C, I just find there's challenge in one, getting sustained membership, recurring users, and then also just standing out in the sea or the cesspool, and that's literally the word I use. It's like a cesspool of startups that are doing this stuff.